My name is Luis Prisco. I'm from Metrópoles here in Brazil, and nice to meet you guys. And my first question is from you, Adil. And I have my own thoughts about it, but I want to hear it from you. Do you see Dr. Singh as a villain or as a victim?
Oh, very good. I think, and this might be a bit of a cop out of from the question, but I think he's a bit of both in the sense that um, most people who are villains, that's motivated through being a victim at some point, And there's a point in season 2 where that tension is sort of played around with a little bit through the writing. Um, so in my understanding of it, yeah, it's difficult. I would say he's both. And there's some moments in some scenes that you would look at him and you would see that he is a victim of his situation, and other times where he tips into sort of being quite villainous as well. So yeah, it's an interesting question and very difficult to answer, but I think both.
Okay. And with no spoilers, please, how far do you think he can go for the love of his life?
Yeah, another good question. I suppose when you are in a situation where your circumstances are complicated, um, so for example, he is trying to look for a cure for the world. He's trying to look for a cure for the world. So there's no higher stakes than that. In that tension, the only thing that can be your sort of we have a saying called a North Star, like the thing that can you're aiming for is the loves in your life. So through all the complications and all the sort of moral sort of questions that he's trying to work through, the one thing that is drawing him through that is the love for his wife. And I suppose you'll just have to tune in to see if it pulls him through that sort of moral like maze that he's in.
And my second question is both for Nonzo and Dania. Brazilian fans really love Gus. So I was reading the comments in the last Sweet Tooth second season trailer, and they are saying something like, I will quote, please protect our babies. So I'm asking to you guys, will Big Man or Emmy will disappoint the Brazilian fans?
That's interesting.
Ah, well, I think Amy's pretty badass on her own, and I think Jep is pretty much a badass too. And I think them together, if they can work out their differences, if they can work together, I'm
I
I
think
think
that's
they'll make you proud.
I think that no, the challenge would be for them to have to figure out, in every relationship, there's ups and downs. And, the more you get to know someone and there's things that are going to be revealed from, of Jeb that I think have a real effect on how Amy wants to figure out how to work with him. And at the end of the day, the children do come first. And I'm going to leave it at that and say that I think we're going to make everybody proud.
I hope it's so. And Dania, I want to know about for you. Do you think hybrids are a metaphor for something you see here in the real world?
I am a big believer that anything is possible. But you're talking to me, I believe in magic. I think there's definitely ways to look at the show in every, not just hybrids, but every aspect of it, whether it's the sick or, nature reclaiming earth. I think there's a lot of metaphors on the show. And I think it brings up a lot of these questions within us and makes it for a really interesting conversation. And as human beings, we're always aiming to better ourselves or to have a better understanding, and that maybe, it's not just us in the world, it's not just us in this universe, and maybe look at life and be better to one another, because we just don't know. So I do like the fact that it opens up those the questions and the conversations to be had.
The next one for you three. Who are the cutest hybrid in the show?
Oh, they're all children. They're all children.
all-
Really hard. I mean, honestly, as a mom myself, it would be very difficult for me to choose. I mean, obviously, I have an affinity to, Pigtail because she's my favorite, but she's my the one that I've raised. But then Bobby's just so cute. My daughter's obsessed with Bobby, so I'm gonna have to maybe give it to Bobby, but not because it's me. I would pick all of them.
When I first watched season one, when I first, was able to watch Bobby in season one, I was like, this is a creepy little thing. I didn't like it. I was like, you got to cut him out of the show. But eventually, he's grown on me. He's definitely grown on me. He's probably I can't wait to see Bobby every time he comes on. So yeah.
And for you, Dil?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a spoiling anything, but with Gus now, he sort of gets in a crew with some more hybrids. I don't think that's because that's how the last season ended. And I'll tell you what, there was this kid who was playing the skunk that was really sweet. He had
Harvey.
yeah, he goes that thing. And he's just full of life and very cheeky, both on and off camera. So it was, I would have to say the skunk.
Okay, and my last question is for you, Nonso. We have just a few seconds. I want to know what changed in the relationship between Big Man and Gus in the second season.
I think the relationship between Gus and Big Man is one that just develops and gets deeper. I think they understand, and I think there's in such a short space of time, there's acceptance of the fact that they are going to become a family, but there's this growth that Gus has to do really quickly to understand the world that we've got to remember. He only just left that little cabin in the woods, and he's got in such a short space of time got to grow so much. And in that time, he understands what Big Man is sacrificing for him, as well as understanding what he has to do, what responsibility he has. So I think their relationship just gets deeper and stronger.
Perfect, guys. Our time is over. Thank you so much.